Well, Gary, a big story nationwide actually has a lot of ties here locally, not too far away in South Tampa. A massive hack against the U.S. Central Command. It's no joke here. Defense officials say there's nothing to worry about, though. According to them, no sensitive or classified information got leaked. Now, new concerns started rising when CENTCOM's own Twitter and YouTube accounts started posting pro-Islamic State content. That's right, ISIS, the ones we've heard about. It wasn't up for very long, though. These tweets and YouTube videos were taken down almost immediately. Security officials immediately suspended those accounts, too, on Twitter and YouTube, but not before several videos and tweets already showed up online. One tweet said, "ISIS is already here. We're in your PCs in each military base." To make matters worse, several tweets appeared to leak private phone numbers and home addresses for hundreds of military personnel. This cyber attack came just as the president himself was talking about internet security. During that speech, one of the president's staffers tweeted out a quote from the president's Twitter handle, "If we're going to be connected, then we need to be protected, hashtag cybersecurity." Right below that, U.S. Central Command on the Twitter handle @CENTCOM says, "American soldiers, we are coming, watch your back, signed ISIS," a clear threat. Now, to top it off, the group changed the profile picture and the cover photo on YouTube to read, "I love you, ISIS." Pentagon leaders once again confirming no important information was leaked. We're still not sure if those addresses that appeared to belong to military personnel were accurate. Elsewhere, real estate mogul and reality TV show host Donald Trump files a new lawsuit for $100 million, complaining about loud airplanes. He says they disturb his opulent club in Palm Beach. Trump's lawsuit names Palm Beach County, demands they redirect air traffic to fly somewhere else. He doesn't want those noisy planes taking off out of Palm Beach International Airport to fly over his property, of course, the historic Mar-a-Lago estate. His website calls it the greatest mansion ever built. In an interview earlier this week, Trump said, "I am saving one of the great houses of this country and one of its greatest landmarks, and it's being badly damaged by the airplanes." Now, to be fair, the property is a National Historic Landmark, and that elite status could hold a lot of weight in court. After a similar lawsuit back in 1995, Trump strong-armed Palm Beach County into leasing him the land where he would later build the Trump International Golf Club, a big spot as well. Now, at last update, we have not received any comment from the county attorney's office. If you're about to fly out of town, you might want to plan to give yourself a few extra minutes at the airports. TSA officials announced it could take a little longer to get through security. TSA agents carrying out random searches, inspecting carry-on bags at Miami International Airport and at Hollywood Fort Lauderdale. Now, if you've been to the airport today, you might have seen some of those flashing blue lights outside of the terminals. Also, state police patrolling the building on foot. This increased police presence is a direct response to the recent terror attacks in France. Now, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson says, "We urge Americans to continue to travel, attend public events, and freely associate with others. However, given world events, this is a time for heightened vigilance." And in other news, it's a boater's nightmare, lost at sea. Former Miami Dolphins fullback Rob Conrad describes a harrowing 16-hour swim after being swept off his boat in the ocean. This is just really something else. Rob Conrad, his voice cracking a bit, told reporters in Plantation he shouldn't be here. He says a huge wave knocked him off his fishing boat, and he wasn't wearing a life jacket, so he had to start swimming. Now, at that time, he was about 9 miles from shore, but because he had to go through currents and everything else, it wasn't a straight line. He had to swim about 27 miles in total before reaching the beach. Along the way, he says it was terrifying.
Got bit by a whole bunch of stuff. Bit by jellyfish. Right when the sun was going down, I was circled by a shark. Luckily, did one circle around and left.
I could hardly imagine going through that. But Conrad says thinking about his family is what got him through. That was the inspiration for him. Now, the boat was on autopilot, ended up in the Bahamas. That was why he couldn't get back on the boat. It was already headed off on its own without someone to steer the ship. Fortunately for Conrad, though, on a lighter note, he had 5 years experience as a Miami Dolphin. Imagine if he spent his time in the NFL as a Buccaneer. They traditionally don't do as well when thrown overboard. But in other news, speaking about football, Florida State University, of course, dragged through the mud recently with a lot of different scandals and allegations around their athletic program. But now the school administration finally speaking out, announcing their plans to counter the recent lawsuit filed by that woman who claims Jameis Winston, the quarterback, raped her And she says the school didn't do hardly enough to prevent that from happening or in the aftermath, the investigation. Now, several top legal analysts have reviewed many of these court documents in the lawsuit, and it appears she presents a solid case against FSU. Now, the school says they will fight that lawsuit vigorously, in their words. Plus, the school trustees also announced they will be publishing new media reports on their own and starting a new Speakers Bureau. The whole plan is to highlight all the good things about the school. It's a clear attempt to boost their positive image in the public eye. Now, FSU trustee Andy Haggard says, quote, "We're a great university, and people need to know that." Chairman Alan Bentz admitted this new PR push is a direct response to the recent LA Times op-ed piece. You might have seen it. It slammed FSU right before their Rose Bowl game against Oregon. Bentz says, "We've taken a few shots, and I get it, I understand that, but I hope that in the next month or two, we work hard on getting the message out about what a great university we are."